Early start to the day today. I'm a bus driver. I got to bring Ava to Walsh, and I have to bring the other two first to St. Barnabas, and then I have to make my way to the barn today. We have a number of horses training, a couple training in the race bike, I believe. Allure is going to go a mile today in preparation of Wednesday's races. So we have a number of horses going a little bit harder today. Tomorrow morning we have Agent Black. I made a mistake yesterday. Tomorrow morning we have Agent Black slated to train with Spitfire Overseas, so that should be a good training session also. So we have a couple things going on in that regard. As you know, last night I did not go down to Scioto Downs. We Aunt Lily scratched. I had the kids, and most importantly, as I said, I wanted to take the evening to go over some of the videos, some of the yearling videos, just to try to polish up my beliefs, my feelings on how the horses look. But again, that really doesn't matter until we get to look at them, and as I say, put our hands on them. So it does give us a map, let's say. This is where I would like to go, and I guess as important, this is where I don't want to go. If I don't like a horse's video, it's very hard for me to get too interested in the horse himself. Now, that isn't always the case. Also, we had bought a horse a few years ago called Nothing But a Dreamer, and his video was horrid. It was terrible. And I just thought that, well, he was lame in his video, to be frank. After speaking with the farm and seeing the horse myself in person, we decided that I wasn't really that worried about the video. We went and bought him, and he ended up being a pretty good horse for us. So I was really happy in that regard. That particular year. But, you know, you don't want to see an unathletic looking horse in the video, right? Clunking along, and it's a little hard to get behind a purchase like that. It has worked out in the past where, you know, we found an enormous amount of value. These videos, I mean, quite frankly, if you have a bad video on a horse, you can almost be sure that it's not going to end well in the sales ring. And quite the opposite, if you have a great video on a horse with maybe even a little less pedigree than you'd like to see, it just seems to push them through sometimes. So I'm trying to take in all that information, make a list of where I want to go when we get to the sale, and the horses I want to look at, horses I'm particularly interested in, and then go from there. So I guess it's more of a job to whittle down our list, if nothing else. So that's what I was doing all night, watching the football game, and just having an evening with the kids. So I was so happy. Anytime I book off the horse, I'm on pins and needles too, because if Manhattan Manning had made a break last night, I would have felt terrible. And he didn't. Chris ended up getting away well with him. Ended up first over, which that was the position he was stuck in off the car. There was nothing he could do about it. And not really Manhattan Money's best. It's not his favorite trip, put it that way. But he hung in there tough. The winner was long gone. And then just got nipped for second. Ended up finishing third, but racing really, really well in the race. I was happy with him. I'd said to Chris and Stacy Van Heusen and her daughter were taking care of the horse last night, and I had said to them and Chris, you know, just explaining the horse and how he sits now. When it came to the hobbles and that particular surface and that track, Chris did in fact tell me after the race he thought that maybe the hobbles were too tight. I'm really itching to take them off of Manhattan Money, and I think the next time we take a trip down to Scioto, it might be without his pants, without his hobbles on. So I was happy with him. Another tremendous race from Delicious Stone DK, second in the optional 25 from Post 8. If he can do in that class, week in and week out, and if he can stay sound in that class, it's almost a license to print money, because there's not going to be a lot of people lining up to claim Delicious Stone DK. So a great path forward for this particular horse. Dominic says his legs are very good and staying good. The only challenge is his front feet right now, which he is on top of and working very hard on. And just a tremendous job by that entire staff. You know, it goes to show you, you know, lots of times we'll have horses that just feel like a lost cause. You just can't seem to get them in the right place at the right time. You can't seem to find a proper class or even jurisdiction for them, and it is incredibly frustrating for me. But to find a horse like Delicious Stone that we had all but given up on, and then for him find a class and find a jurisdiction where he could do, it's a great feeling. And that feeling was perpetuated by Dominic and his crew, and just a great job by them in total. And then yesterday, as I said, we're trying to work through the kinks of the calendar and trying to figure out a way to get everything done at the same time. But Dune was not listed on the calendar. Still, when I look back a day, she's still not there. She was a winner yesterday at Fowlersville, I want to say. I think that's the name of the place. A winner yesterday in Michigan, so another great race by her. As I said, I have to train today, and then we have some horses racing. Cherry's girl, Mike Wilder, is going to drive her in Philadelphia. It was just utterly impossible with the kids here. I just could not go to Philadelphia, and she's the type of horse where I don't think I had to be. And Mike Wilder's a good fit for this filly. As I told him, you can drive her like a racehorse, scoot her off the car, get her placed somewhere, follow and hope that you beat horses. And that's kind of the formula for today with respect to Cherry's girl. Riding the rodeo tonight, that'll be her last start. Again, I had another barrage of emails yesterday from people asking why this horse or that horse is in the sale. I do my best to explain it to everybody. Riding the rodeo is a prospect filly, but when it comes to her end of 2-year-old season into 3-year-old aspirations, if somebody wants to take the time, rest her, and bring her back, she might be a grassroots filly. She might be a quality 3-year-old. But I only have the information to go on that I have in front of me. And when it goes to Riding the Rodeo and Steph's Hope and He's a Fearless Peter, these are horses that I have just chosen not to carry over. I just chose not to carry them over. And there has to be, as I said, lines drawn in the sand. And when it comes to those three in particular, they've been drawn. In regards to Patrick the Piranha, somebody messaged me today and said, well, I think if you had him to Plain Ridge all summer, he would have been much better. But yeah, everybody has an idea, right? Everybody has their own thoughts on everything. But the reality of the situation is, hypothesis, you can say, oh, he would have been better. You can cling on to that. But we don't get a chance to flesh that out, right? We don't get a chance to see that because it's over. And further to that, there's lots of times where people think that we went in the right direction, and we did not. Reminds me of the old sayings about it. Everybody has their own thoughts, right? I'll leave that for another day. So with regards to Patrick the Piranha, he hasn't had a bad year. It doesn't matter. I know people think he would be better here, he would be better there, he'd be better. The reality of Patrick the Piranha, and I'm only going to tell you this because I'm not aware of anybody that's ever written me an email about Patrick the Piranha that has ever driven him, nor trained him. And everybody thinks they can do better. Everybody thinks that they have a better plan or a better path forward. And that's fine. There's times when you very well may. But we chose the path of staying in Pennsylvania because he didn't race consistently well in Scioto also, nor at Northfield Park. And Plain Ridge is great, but again, you run into the same problems. He is not an open pacer anymore. And for those of you who think he is, that's fine. He's for sale on Monday. You can prove me wrong if you'd like. He's unpreferred. He's a wonderful, wonderful horse. He's sound as a dollar, but he's a middle condition horse now. And I'm going to do my best to stay away from middle condition racing. I had somebody else email me and say, you continue to call it ladder racing or middle condition racing. He said, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with racing horses up and down the horses and protecting them and managing them. I love when people like to use words like managing them and protecting them in respect to staying in the middle condition races. But that the whole thing is what they're saying is that we do our best just to keep them in the middle. Right? I'm not racing horses like that.
That's not.
What's wrong? What?
What's that?
I see a big giant truck. Says those aren't Sopranos. I'm not racing horses like that. When you are going to put forth let's say put forth a training racing schedule for the year, and then in the racing schedule you've allotted 35% of your races you know you're going to lose. I can tell you this much. It's easy enough to lose races without knowing you're going to lose races. I have less than 0% interest in losing a third of the races every single year because I know my horse is going to get up too high and then has to race his way back down. I'm not doing it. So for those of you out there that like that idea, you are not going to find it in this barn if I can help it. We're going to race our horses from the numbers of 1 up to the numbers of 10 and continue to try to acquire and buy open pacers and trotters. And when they do slip a little bit, they can go to another jurisdiction or they can go to another barn for that matter. So that is the stable plan. It has not changed or wavered very much. It is the way, the blueprint we have set forth. And I know that there are people out there that say, I absolutely disagree with you. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with me. There are lots of other trainers out there. Right, Patty. You're more than welcome to buy horses with other people. I mean, I'm only trying to do the best I can for everybody. And I've always said this from the onset of the stable. When we first started the stable, I wanted us to be a gateway to the entire general public. So it doesn't matter what stable you end up with or who you're with or how you got there. But if you got into the industry with us and got a chance to see the industry with us and because of us, well, that's exactly why the stable was built. To each his own. Everybody is different. And I'm not trying to tell everybody, this is how you do it and this is the right way to do it. I'm only human. I can be wrong. But I'm going to tell you this much. It's how we're going to do it. And for right now, it has worked fairly well. We can always polish the program up and change what we're going to do with respect to specific horses. But when it comes to the stable, I just think that it works pretty well the way it is. Anyway, so today we have Cherry's Girl riding the rodeo tonight. Gorgeous Package is going to race tonight. And Perfect Thought is going to race. She's 9 to 5, going for $150,000 in the New Jersey Classic. And I certainly don't think there's any issue with that. Would you mind running in and grabbing that? Just 2 drinks and 2 muffins. All right? Thank you. So that's where we're at right now with regards to... seemed like she slammed that kind of hard, didn't she?
Yeah.
I felt she did. That's where we're at right now with the barn. The Trotting Fillies in Kentucky race next week. But if you're paying attention, Jolene Hall is coming to Northfield on Monday to race in a maiden there. I wanted to try and get a win with her and prep her at lunch and prep her for...
Trying to convince me that a truck is a car. No, I am not pointing at that.
Okay, can we just relax?
What are you pointing at? You're saying gray car. No, that gray car right there.
Which one? On the left or the right, Addie?
On the right.
That is a car. That's a Honda.
Black.
That's actually gray.
That was a Ford.
No, it's right there. It's gray. Anyway, I'm doing a video. I don't want to talk about Fords and Hondas. Anyway, so Friday is today. We have Cherry's Girl riding the rodeo, Gorgeous Package, and Perfect Thought. Tomorrow, we are a busy crew. Arrowhead Hanover fielded a number of videos from people. This is how we've treated livers. We've had great luck. Honestly, if you've had great luck treating livers out there, I would love to hear from you because with horses, because quite frankly, we have, and every stable I've talked to have tried a million different things, and really nobody can seem to figure out why they jump up when they do, and they're very difficult to treat no matter how they are. I just had a long conversation with our veterinarian, very smart guy in Kentucky, and he was saying the same thing. Zena Kemp's liver, not high, but it's jumping a little above high normal every so often, and you know, they beautiful hay there, they get great, everything is perfect there. So why is it doing that? So it's very, very weird. So a great conversation there, but no results. No definite, this is how we're going to treat it, and this is what luck we've had doing it. None of that came from that discussion, I can tell you that. So Arrowhead Hanover, his racing out of the 8-hole in the Consolation, where, quite frankly, if you rewind it a month, drop that liver down and give us a 3 or 4 hole, I'm probably 9 to 5, and if I'm not, I'd probably drive him like he's 9 to 5, and I suspect he would have raced very, very well. But with a high liver out of the 8-hole, I have to be super conservative with him, and it's guarded. The prognosis for his race, the outcome of his race, in my mind, is guarded. So we'll see how he races on Saturday. Rock Shining Stars in a good place. He did race good the other day and is continuing to march forward. Happy with what I saw there. We'll see how he races on Saturday at the Meadows. Neptune is going to race against Patrick the Piranha. I like Patrick the Piranha's chances in this class. Again, the reason I like his chances, because it is the non-winners of 4,900, last four. He is morning line, 5-1. He should be good out of the 3-hole. I know they're all over Dave Palone's horse in there, but Patrick the Piranha, if I can get him way up close, it will take a good horse to beat him, I think, in that particular class. So that's Saturday. Woodmere Bullet races Saturday evening in Charlottetown Driving Park. Foxy Seaside, who trained great yesterday with the minor changes we made to her equipment. She's got the 8-hole also. She has Corey Kreiser driving her. She's 7-1 morning line. Lifting Legend at Hiawatha Horse Park. Used to love to race there. That's right on the border in Sarnia. It's he's 5-2. Long way to go, but at the same time, from my standpoint, he looks like the second best horse in the prospect this year, and really happy with the way he's starting to look on the track. Time is on my side. I got a bit of a surprise. 3-1. I thought he'd be like 8 or 10-1. They might be betting the driver, though. Do you think the driver changed? Ronnie Wren will drive Time is on My Side on Saturday evening. 3-1 going for 50,000. Dave Bolus again. You're the best. I was wrong. You were right. He told me he wouldn't get in the Eward on money, and I thought he was crazy, and he was right. He did not. Shh. Hold on. You can go to we're all going to the Meadows on Saturday, honey. And Time is on My Saddle race at night. Raging Hanover will close out our night at the Meadowlands, 5-1 for Megan Scran and Mark Hirschberger. Not familiar with Mr. Hirschberger, but he wins a lot of races and does really well. So good luck with Raging Hanover. Now our afternoon, I opted to. I had to discuss it with somebody today, this week, with respect to what I'm doing on Saturday. Saturday, I'm going to the Meadows and racing all day, and then the kids and I are going to the ball game in Pittsburgh. So that is why I did not go back to drive Foxy Seaside. That is why I did not go to drive Time is on My Side. Foxy drew the 8-hole, and I thought the Corey would do fine with her. Time is on My Side drew the 3-hole in the open, and Ronnie Wren didn't have a drive. So it's not like Time is tricky, right? He's not. He's a good horse. Go out and race him against other good horses and do the best you can. And that is the position we're at with respect to Time is on My Side. And somebody had asked why I would choose the ball game over either of those two horses. And I understood they probably meant nothing by it. But the reality of the situation is, for those of you that are parents or grandparents out there, Paul Skeens is pitching on Saturday night. Everybody in the car, except for Addie, wanted to go. Footlong hot dog, Addie?
No.
Everybody but Addie was super enthusiastic about going to watch the game. And anytime I can spend a little bit of time with the kids now and again, then that's what I'm going to do. And I am fairly unapologetic about that. I think it's more than fair. Now, Sunday we're going to clean out. We're going to finish off our weekend with Gaslight Hall. I think he's in a great spot. He's coming into the race good, and I think he's going to do very, very good on Sunday. And then that will lead to his sale on Monday also. As I said, 6 horses in the sale on Monday. I guess I'll have a quick look ahead also. Monday we have Rico Tubbs, 4-1 in the Stallion Series final. And Blue Rare is 4-1 in the Ontario Sire Stakes grassroots with James McDonald driving. Ronnie Wren is going to drive Rico Tubbs. He knows him. He was third, just beat with him 2 starts ago. So with that, I am going to let you go. Lots going on. I tried to update everybody. I will say one thing. I did forget to update Memento Mori, and I had 5 emails last night about him. So just to clarify, Memento Mori is schooling today in Ontario. Somebody said, when's he going to race? I don't care when he races. It will be when he puts weight on and he feels good. That is that. So I'll let you know when he's in to go. But if James texts me today and says he was good, a little light on the end of it, he's still a little skinny, then he's not racing next week. I just want everybody to know that. He went to Ontario to fatten up. Dominic said he has put significant weight on. James had said the same thing, and even Amy that saw him last week said he did actually put weight on. So I suspect he'll school well today. If that's the case, then you will see Memento Mori in next week. But my apologies for not bringing that to you a little bit earlier. So with that, I will let you go. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. The weather's good here. I'm going to head over to Northfield, drop the kids off, head to Northfield, train some horses, and then I am done for the entire day. That never happens on the weekend. I'm going to go home, finish off watching my videos, have another look through Lexington. I am now engaged in dialogues with many people about hips and horses, and that will continue straight through forever, it appears, straight through the fall. Yes, honey, can I help you?
Where's Ava?
That's a good question. I'm going to go find out where Ava is. These drinks were supposed to be ready. No, you cannot. They're supposed to be ready 5 minutes ago. Anyway, take care. We'll talk to you all very soon. Have a great Friday, everybody.